on, man? This is guns, knives, and watches, baby. We gonna talk about that there zebra pot, man. 14 centimeter lunchbox. It's not 14 millimeters, man, because we all know that 14 millimeters, man, that's a little bit over half an inch, ain't it? This is 14 centimeters. And for them there in their flyover states that aren't taught that their education of how to write in cursive and how to actually use, that their metric system or any of the other things like, and don't know nothing other than about the world other than that their ITAR, because you've been spending too much time on forums. Well, this is 14 centimeters, man. And what we have here is we have a stainless steel lunchbox. Now, the lunchbox in Thailand has a history. And of course, the lunchboxes in Thailand look more like this. Why is that? Because you can put a quantity of food. You can have 3 separate foods in here, not mixing the flavors, this, there, or the others. Or people go in, combi, this, there, or the other. And this is a small one. And this is from Zebra Pot also, and this is very high-end, okay? Your typical ones that you run across in Thailand are not going to be 12 centimeters across. They're not going to be 3-decked. They're not going to be made out of stainless steel. They're going to be larger, this, there, or the other, and they're going to deliver them, and they deliver them every day. And that's a whole thing in Thailand, and I wish I could talk to you I wish I could talk to you about Thailand, but I really can't. But that's the way it works. This is guns, knives, and watches, baby. And you just gotta take it as you kind of get it, baby. Woo! So this is more of a 14 centimeter type of lunchbox that would fit more into the American type of use, or maybe European type of use. Your kid has a lunchbox, this, there, or the other, or you have a bushcrafting pot. Now, before I open it up, I want to talk to you a little bit about my past. I started backpacking, climbing mountains, doing all this shit a long time ago. And I did it with people that actually knew what the hell they were doing. Briggs, Leachman, this, there, the other. And I started with a Peak 1 kit from Coleman because it was the best kit I could have. Now, did I modify that kit? Yes, I did. Did I have to sew the kit? Yeah. Ain't my sewing job just perfect, man? Oh God, those stitches, they're amazing. I need to start making quilts. But anyway, that was the bag I carried it in. Of course, I had a pot grabber. It was not this one. It was one that, believe it or not, this is an MSR, and the one that I carried was much lighter, and it wasn't drilled, but we're not going to go there. Of course, I had a Wyoming cup stainless steel. Ate out of this thing all the time, and then carried this pot, and this was, of course, copper coated on the bottom, and it was thick stainless steel. And it's not so much the copper that mattered, it was just the thick stainless steel. And that is reminiscent of these pots. In fact, these may be higher quality. Of course, I had a lid for it, which is right here, buddy. A lid for my pot and my Wyoming cup, and man, I'm ready to go. Now, we had larger pots like this, which I hate to sit there and say this, I used a few times, I really didn't like. We had frying pans that really sucked, and you can see that got used once, and it's like, oh God, why am I carrying that? So we tossed that immediately. But still would use this one every so often. Because it had a bail handle that was easily lockable, this, there, or the other, and so my big kit when I went out west or something like that looked similar to this, okay? And as I said, with some better equipment in it. Later on, I moved to titanium, and you have to understand the cost-benefit equation, and you also have to understand, as far as just cooking, how that affects what you eat. This is the modern day equivalent to this kit, because I doubt something like this is made nowadays. Did I look it up? No, I didn't. But this is something that a modern fire cooker or someone that cooks can actually use, because what we have is a 14 centimeter pot. Let's unlock it. It has a handle, which means you can place it in the fire. You have control over it. You have a handle. You have it on top of the lid, which I'm not a super proponent of the lid, but for what it is, it's for what it is, you know. It's not like the lid for the 14 centimeter pot. That there, man, that there bush top crafting wilderness survival, man, gonna woo 2 quart, man, where you can actually you can place it on the top, and then you can place it upside down and have another vessel, let's say for melting butter, something like that. The reason this does not work, and the reason something like this wouldn't work, is because the inner pot on this one is not as deep, okay, as that there standard, boy. And it's a subtle difference, but the difference matters. See how that has a rolled edge? I'm not saying it wasn't pressed out of the same die. Because it has a rolled edge, because this, there, or the other, that makes a difference. Now, so something like this, sitting down into it, is going to take up that much volume, which basically makes this ineffective. So this, being on top of it, gives the additional volume, which makes it work. Now, the reason they had to decrease the volume here was because of the decreased height here. Let me get that there millimeter type ruler device, man. Let's see what we can do, man. Let's see, man. Oh God. Oh. Can I do it? Can I do it? Can I do it? Oh no, Lord God, I cannot do it. I cannot do it. I cannot do it. I cannot do it. And we're basically looking at a pot. That's about 7.5 centimeters in height. Outside dimension, 75 millimeters. So, and has a rolled edge on the top, which that rolled edge has other issues, and you know, in all of these pots, all of the zebra pots, they do tend to do that, which is okay. Just clean it out, make sure it dries out, make sure you sterilize it, make sure there's not a lot of cross-contamination. Of course, you've got a latch on the outside. But what this pot is really good for is similar to my other cook set. If you're going to go out and you're going to do like Lipton type meals, because when we used to go out, we used to carry the Lipton type meals, and we used to carry, well, that's what we used to carry. Beans and rice. Lipton beans and rice was actually my favorite, and probably still is. As far as any of those type meals, and just go out, carry this, there, or the other, and smell, taste are very powerful emotions. Smell, believe it or not, is actually the most powerful emotion. But no, I digress. And this would be what most people would be able to deal with very easily and effectively, or act as a secondary pot. Now, I'm not saying this is going to be a secondary pot for backpacking, because after we carry a bush pot or a billy pot, a loop handle pot, whatever you want to refer to this as, you know, this one, you know, probably doesn't have any real usefulness, especially considering the fact this has 3 basically usable volumes. But if you want something smaller, you want something that, you know, do individual meals with, you can send your kids to school with, you can do any of that, this may be a great option. And it comes in at under, you know, around 20 some dollars. It's lockable, this, there, or the other. You might be able to put an ice packet in it or something like that. But, you know, in modern society, in modern civilization, this may be your answer. In a lot of bushcraft, this may be your answer also, depending on your need. Now, how much does this thing weigh? Because that's kind of, hey man, how much does it weigh, boy? You man been stealing that there load cell, buddy. Let's see what this thing weighs, man. 18.45 ounces. Didn't say it was light. You gotta understand, because of all of the hardware, and I'll put that there, man. That's 25.95, buddy. It just depends on your level of cooking, what you need, what you have the ability to deal with. Now, is this a good primary pot? It would have been for me 20 some years ago. Would it be a good primary pot for me now? Yes, it would be a very good primary pot for me now. And because of the thickness of the stainless steel, I'd be able to get that Mansonard type reaction, man, going, man, and you just, man, woo, we're gonna cook it up, man, and be able to do a lot of things with it. But that's because I learned the skill to be able to cook. It's not going to make a crappy meal taste great. It's going to give a person that has the ability to understand flavor, the ability to man, take advantage of that there thing, man. But anyway, this is the 14 centimeter lunchbox from Zebra Pots of Thailand. And does it fit into your kit? Maybe. To me, it's something to collect, and it's something to use, and it's something to learn with. And is the $20 worth it? I say that it is. Have a good one.